What's good, YouTube land? Rounding off this wave of Mortal Kombat figures, it's the other Kahn, Kotal Kahn. Surnamed because Kahn is just the name given to the leader of Outworld at the time. Or I guess Khan-S in case of Melina and Kitana. But here's his box. The standard, just with pictures of him. We've seen these all before so many times. There you go. And let's talk about Kotal. Is there anything really to say? Was there anything interesting about Kotal in either MKX or MK11? I hated his design in MKX. The freaking nail or screw in the very crude piercing. This design is better, but that's actually not his real skin tone, I believe. It's a ceremonial, I think, paint or something, because he showed up in MKX not being blue. He is very bulky as well. Very defined pecs. And I believe the reason for him resembling a Aztec elite soldier is because he actually canonically traveled to Earthrealm and Mexico, that area, and was basically referred to as a god of war by the Aztecs for staving off Spanish conquistadors. So he very much, well, I think the Aztec, the race of people he's from, probably are also designed after the Aztec. So he's got a very formal set of armor, sort of like a what's the word I'm looking for? Like very light armor, ceremonial sort of armor. The thing I'm not excited about the most is his face sculpt. It is accurate, but it's just kind of bland. Really, it's really unfortunate. Like, even Shao Kahn had like some armor covering up his face so he could get away with the lack of expression. It's just no expression and nothing covering up to make it look interesting. Thankfully, the headdress is removable. It's just pegged in. It comes separate in the box, thankfully. And other than that, he looks like he does in the later half of MKX and MK11. Yeah. I don't hate Kotal. He didn't really do much to interest me other than play the antagonist in some parts of MKX and at tentative allegiance with Earthrealm in MK11. And he fought Shao Kahn, got murdered by Shao Kahn, had a relationship with Jade. I mean, who wouldn't want to have a relationship with Jade? And yeah. What else to say? Well, articulation, he's got everything. The ball joint, nothing's hindered, really. My only slight problem is that wonky way the foot's molded. Like, the shin looks like it's bowing a bit, and it kind of gives him an awkward standing base. Like, it doesn't really do him any favors. But he is very solid. I guess we'll go ball joint at the neck. Every ball joint can be a swivel. It's a bit creaky. Universal shoulders, give full range. outward that far. You do get a bicep swivel, double jointed elbow. Everything is smooth. Wrist hinge that's on a swivel. Give you a look at the back. Well, there's not much. Very minimal on the detailing just to get the sort of cloth armor. I don't want to say armor, but clothing over. The fact that he's wearing. You could see his codpiece by revealing that flap. I'm sure Jade's done that a bit. He does have tight. Oh god, yep, that's not. It's tight swivels. Okay, so that's the only joint. As you go back that far, forward that far, side to side. Yeah, that joint's loosening up a bit on me. Okay. Hips go forward, kick back, although they're hindered by his clothing. Beautiful spread. And to get thigh swivel, which is quite a bit freer than most. Double jointed knees. And the hinge and a swivel along with the toe bend, which looks like it's breaking his toes, but that's how toes bend, I guess. Sort of, not really. That's how they bend on action figures. So yeah, he's he's average. He's solid. I respect Kotal. I was happy. I bought him just because it's a new mold and new sculpt in this toy line. And he is in the game. But what's better than him is his accessory. His big frickin' sword. This thing's molded in nice, got tons of detail. Even little chips to represent that it's actually battle damaged. Like, this is a really nice accessory. Very nice gold and silver. And some, I assume, Mayan detail, which I don't know if it's anything at all or if it's just a nice look of the sword. And he holds it fairly well. Although you kind of have to flex his fingers quite a bit to get it in there, but once it's in there, he's not going to double-hand it. He's not that. Oh, well. I said the same thing about Shao Kahn. Speaking of, here's a comparison for Shao Kahn. Yep. Yeah. Hammer against sword. He does use it like an obsidian sword, which is very standard back in the Mayan era, because they weren't that far away timeline wise of like proper steel being forged, especially over there. But at the time, they really didn't have anything other than obsidian, which, while great in some aspects, because the obsidian would break off into flesh, and it was basically, when you got hit obsidian, it was almost guaranteed you were going to die, because the medicine back in those days was not good enough to either heal the wound the obsidian caused or get the obsidian out without killing the person, because it would lodge in there, and shards of it they'd have to pull out, and that basically tore you up more and was guaranteed a death sentence. Even though actually obsidian wasn't always black, as I'm thinking of it. This probably could have been an obsidian blade if it was made in ancient Maya. Although probably in Outworld they probably had steel welding at some point. So I don't know. It's probably, I don't know. It could be Uru for all I know. No, it wouldn't be Uru because they haven't had ties with Marvel, only DC. So I don't know what the sword would be made of. But it's a very nice sword. So now here we go with size comparison with Noob, Spawn, Sub-Zero, Johnny Cage, Cabal, Scorpion, Raiden, and Kitana, his successor, the current Khan in the timeline, at least one version of the timeline. Freaking the timeline so messed up in Mortal Kombat, and we don't even know if we'll get Mortal Kombat 12 or whatever the next one will be called. But this guy, I'm very happy with. Now, of the three, I'd still the one I recommend above all is the Joker. But him and Shao Kahn are probably tied. Although I might actually play with this guy more because his shoulder is not freaking me out and being ridiculously annoying. So I don't know. He's solid. I like him. Now, I just remembered I did want to talk about Goro. Because not if, well, let me rephrase that. If NetherRealm and McFarlane do a Goro, I want him to have removable arms. Because in the MKX comic books, Kotal fights Goro at one point and rips off two of Goro's arms. And then that leads him to being, I believe, disowned by his tribe and probably leads to his death and the taking over of the clan by Shiva. Shiva is a different thing. Shiva. So I definitely want a Goro to fight this guy. You could probably easily get a Kintaro repaint out of it, even a She-Ra repaint or remold. Like, how have we not got Jade or Melina yet? Like, I've asked this so many times. They have Kitana, they have a base mold, they can remold into Melina. I don't know if you want a maskless face or not, but maybe you can do a removable, like a alternate head, one with the mask, one without. I don't know if you want to horrify children with like having to look at Melina's, basically having to look at that, but on a female body. And what else? I'm trying to think of other characters from MK11. I've already mentioned them countless times. I don't need to mention them here. I'm just going to wrap up by saying he is solid. If you want a good depiction of Kotal Kahn, if you liked him at all in either game, I would say pick this guy up. Or just pick up the Joker, because he's better than most things. So, until next time. Uh, keep it weird. And we must have combat. Nah, I train to fight. I don't need to actually fight. Bye bye.